Hi everyone, today we will be learning about probability. We are starting our very first chapter of probability, and we will be learning how to identify outcomes. This section has a lot of vocabulary words in it, so please be ready to write out your vocabulary so that way you can do really well when it comes to answering the different questions in this section. So the first word that I have for you in our vocabulary journey today about identifying outcomes is the word experiment. Now, you've probably heard the word experiment when you do an experiment in science, or when you experiment with something, right? Like trying to find the outcome of something. You have to do and perform some different things. Well, in math, it's the same thing. An experiment is an investigation or a procedure that has different results. So you're going to receive some data in order to answer whatever question you started with. So an experiment is an investigation or a procedure that has varying results. So an experiment is an investigation that has results. So it's something that we do in order to get results. That is an experiment. Okay, the next word that I want to look at is the word outcome. The outcome is the results from the experiment. So the outcomes is the result or results of the experiment that you do. So there's the outcome. So the outcome is what you get when you do the experiment. When you do the experiment, it's the answers. Okay, our next word, I know, so many words today. Word number 3 is a collection of one or more outcomes, is called an event. When you collect the outcomes, we actually call this an event. So this is called the collection when we're collecting. So getting the data is the event. So when we get data, it's an event to collect the data. We have an event to collect the data. It's the collection of the outcomes. And our last word for today is called a favorable outcome. What color should I use for this? Just use blue. Favorable outcomes. Favorable outcomes are the outcomes of a specific event. So it's the outcomes of the specific event. So what happens during this event with the outcomes? So many words. I know it's kind of confusing right now, but I'll show you exactly what these words mean. So favorable outcomes are the outcomes of a specific event. I don't know what I'm writing. Outcomes of the specific event. And I'll go ahead and outline this in pink since it goes with events. Outcomes of the event. Specific event. So let's do an example. Okay, let's do an example. The experiment that we're doing is randomly choosing. Okay, so that's what we're doing. The experiment we're doing is randomly choosing a marble from a group of marbles. Randomly choosing a marble from a group of marbles. In this experiment, the possible outcomes are we could choose one purple marble. We could choose 2 green marbles. We could choose a blue marble. So we've got purple, blue, 2 greens. There's 1 orange marble. And there's also 1 red marble. Okay? So this is the possible outcomes that we have. Red, orange, blue, 2 greens, or a purple marble. Those are the possible outcomes. Now, the event, each marble is the outcome. Selecting the green marbles is the event. So in the event, I want to know about selecting green marbles. So if I were to choose green, what are the specific outcomes or the outcomes of this event, which would be the favorable outcomes? So the favorable outcome is choosing 2, because there are 2 green marbles. So the outcome is 2. There's an opportunity to choose 2 from the green marbles. So my experiment was randomly choosing a marble from the group of marbles. That's the experiment. The possible outcomes in the experiment were green, purple, blue, orange, or red. I wanted to know then what was the outcome or the likelihood of selecting green. Well, the outcome would be 2 because there's 2 possible green marbles. So the outcome from here is 2 green marbles. Now let's do another example so that way we have some more ideas about what this possibly could mean. So let's say that now another experiment is spinning a spinner. So here's my experiment. Is spinning a spinner. That is my next experiment. So here's experiment A and experiment B. Spinning a spinner. And the spinner that I have looks like this. And in my spinner, I have various numbers. I have a 2, I have a 1, I have a 3, I have a 1, a 4, and a 1. And I am going to spin my spinner. So here's like a little spinny deal, and it has like a little arrow. And then you would just flick it and spin it, and it would spin. So I want to know how many, first of all, how many possible outcomes are there? So the first question, question A, is how many possible outcomes? How many possible outcomes are there? Well, we could get a 2, a 1, a 3, a 1, a 4, or a 1. So there are 6 possible outcomes that we could get. Okay, now my next question, question B, wants to know what is the favorable outcome of spinning an even number? So B is favorable outcome that's even. So how many of our outcomes could be even? Well, in our outcomes, 2 and 4 are the only evens. So we have 2 outcomes, 2 favorable outcomes for even, because the numbers 2 and 4 are even. Okay, and then the last question, it says, in how many ways can spinning a number less than 2 occur? So if I wanted a number less than 2, how many different ways could I spin for, let's look at this, less than the number 2? So I could spin a 1, a 1, and a 1. So there are 3 outcomes that are less than 2. So the experiment, spinning a spinner. How many possible outcomes were there? There were 6. The favorable outcome that was even was 2 options. And then how many ways can we spin a number less than 2? There were 3. So you're just using the experiment to answer the different questions. Okay, it is your turn now to do a try it. And on your try it, you will be using the experiment of randomly pulling tiles from a hat. So your try it is pulling tiles randomly from a hat. Okay, and the tiles that you can pull. There's an A, there is a D, there is a tile with a letter C on it, there is a tile with a letter B, another tile with a letter B, ooh, another tile with a letter B, there is an E, lots of my initials in here, and another A. Okay, the questions that they want to know are, how many possible outcomes are there? Using this information, how many possible outcomes? Question number 2. Question number 2 wants to know, what are the favorable outcome of choosing a vowel? Favorable outcome of choosing a vowel. And then the last question they want you to answer is, in how many ways can choosing a consonant occur? Oh gosh, I spelled that wrong. Don't tell Miss Mintink I spelled that wrong. Consonant. There we go. How many consonants can occur? Okay, it is your turn now. Go ahead and hit pause right now so you don't hear me solving. And then when you're ready, come on back and answer these questions. Or check your level of understanding. So, how many possible outcomes do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 possible outcomes because you could choose A, D, C, B, 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 E, and A. Those are the possible outcomes. Favorable outcome of choosing a vowel. Well, let's check it out. A is a vowel, so there's 1. D, no. C, nope. B, nope. E, and A. So there are 3 possible vowels, A, E, and A. How many possible consonants could occur? How many possible consonants could occur? Well, we know A is a vowel, so D, C, B, B, and B. So, choosing those consonants, the possibility is 5 because there's 3 B's, a D, and a C. So we could choose 5. All right. How did you do on those? How did you do on answering those questions? Go ahead and answer your essential question now. How do we identify outcomes? I know it was a lot of vocabulary, so you're really going to want to use these notes to help you on your practice work. Go ahead and put your level of understanding out to the side. Where are you at with understanding? And when you're finished, you can now go on to the, either come on back to the Google Meet and ask for help, or you can go and do your practice work. As always, I appreciate all of your hard work and effort, and make it a great day.